I'm part of your staff here and I don't even get fed. Oh.
You want one? Welcome to Irish Footy Vlogs weekend review show. Cian, decent weekend of football as well. Some good games, some bad games. What did you make of it on the whole before we get into the individual games?
I don't think there was much. Like, the Shelbourne and Dundalk game was obviously the standout game of the weekend. Couple of the first division wasn't bad, but I think overall, generally poor games, and I don't mean that disrespectful to any teams, but there wasn't a lot of excitement.
Yeah, true. Yeah, especially in the Premier Division where we see most of the games as well. We'll get into the first game, I suppose. The first game of the weekend was Bohemians 0, Waterford 2. John Sheridan's last game for the club. I won't say I predicted that, but I predicted that. As soon as the English season started, I said he'd be gone, but there you go. But to be fair, this was actually an excellent performance by Waterford. I was surprised by them. I thought they were really good in this. Bohemians maybe were a little off colour, but at the same time, you have to take advantage of that. And Waterford certainly did, didn't they, Cian, in this game?
Yeah, what a performance from Waterford. I think they were with it from minute one. In saying that, I thought up until the goal, I thought Bowles were a better side. I thought Danny Grant caused them an awful lot of trouble. Cutting in, he got through once or twice in the game as well. Unfortunately for myself, I had him backed. But I honestly, I thought they were on top. They were a much better side right up until the goal. I think they couldn't have got the goal against the run of play. I don't think they deserved the goal. But the minute they went ahead, they just bossed the game, I thought. And look, they fully deserving of the 3 points in the end. I think it was fairly comfortable for them, which is
probably could have a few more goals, couldn't they, Cian? If I'm honest, after they scored the first goal, I think they had to woodwork twice, maybe.
Yeah, Tyreek hit a free kick off the post as well in the second half, and look, his first one was well taken. I've heard he's getting slagged because he takes so many free kicks and corners after training, and none of them has ended up in the net. But he works hard, that fella. He's had to be over to England for Man City. No doubt his ability.
I thought he actually had a very good game, apart from the goal, because sometimes people pick players to just score, don't they, Cian? But if you take away the goal, I thought he was good overall. Him and Subawale, the two wing-backs, were good. I thought Ali Kouch was the best player in the middle of the park between both teams.
Yeah, both. It's disappointing. Look, I won't be forgiven for saying it. It's kind of that was a body blow last week, losing to Rovers, and I think that was a little bit of a hangover. And they don't want that. You can't, like, especially with a couple of games to go. Like I says, for once, and I would say probably since they've won the league, that there was actually pressure on Bowles to win a game. And I say that but I say that in a good way. Like, it's a testament to Bowles, what I'm saying, that they are, and they have become, let's say, one of the title favourites at this stage now. Look, it might be a little bit gone now. Look, it might be a little bit out of their reach, but taking nothing away from the season they've had, nobody expected them to be there. In saying that, they'd be disappointed because having been there and knowing the way Keith Long operates and knowing the way the side operate, they would be disappointed that they didn't, let's say, push on from the position they got themselves into. I do think it's still gonna go right down to wherever points are in now, but I think it's gonna go right down to Bowles will probably push and rightly so. They're a fantastic side, but I think that little bit of pressure probably had to kill them.
What did you think? Now, I have to bring this up because a lot of talk about Danny Mandrew and his future and that, and of course he starts this game. But what did you think his general performance?
Look, he hasn't played for a long time. Properly, he hasn't started the game for a long time. Playing against Waterford is tough this season. I didn't think it would be. I don't think many predicted Waterford to be up there. But they are, and look, they're a great side. They're very physical. I thought Ali Coote done a great job at man marking them out of the game. I think from looking at the game, I don't think he gave him a sniff on the ball. Dano is a player that gets the ball in and around the middle towards the final third, picks up pockets of space, gets in with the ball, drives with the ball, and I don't think he got a chance to do that. In saying that, in the first half, especially up until Waterford scored, I did think he was the main man, and he was operating, and he did play a couple of passes. Look, there's an awful lot of pressure on him now more than ever. Look, we all know the situation that happened with the Gargles. Look, he probably hasn't been his bonnet about that. Look, if we're in that position, would we? You know what I mean? You just don't know, because you know the minute the crowds come back, you know what, every opposition player, maybe both players would be singing about him. Do you know what I mean? And you can understand his point of view from that. But at the same time, there's a lot of pressure on him. I remember a situation like this a couple of years ago where Carl Shepherd played in the cup final, and he was supposed to be signing for Dundalk. It was agreed and everything. And he played for Cork against Dundalk in the cup final. And the pressure that's had to be put on Carl for that, and I could say the same for Dano. Look, he didn't play against Shamrock Rovers in last week. He didn't start against them, but going on there against, like, everybody's looking at him to score goals, and now everybody's looking at him to score goals more. And when he's not scoring goals, people start asking questions because of the transfer rumours and stuff like that. So I think people are a little bit hard on him. Nothing is agreed yet. He's still a Bowes player. He should be treated like a Bowes player. And, with no questions, Keith Long put him into sides. Look, if he scored a goal, it'd be a genius, a walk of genius from Keith Long if they won the game even. So, but I thought he looked like a player that played with a lot of weight in the shoulders in that game, because he felt like he had to go out and prove a point, when in truth, like, he's good enough. He probably doesn't even have to try anymore. He scored 2 goals.
Too hard, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. He went out. He looked heavy. He looked like he had the weight of the club on his shoulders. He looked like he had to put a performance in.
Some of the fans are a bit iffy as well, and he could have been fortunate enough to get a red, possibly on one occasion.
And this is when I need to start looking at the media. I need to start looking at people like this. Like, we need to realise this player is 21, 22 years of age. He's a fantastic footballer, but he's had a great season. Last season, he hasn't hit the heights that he'd want to hit now. But we need to realise this fella is 21, 22 years of age, and we're putting out these stories that he's going to Shamrock Rovers and all this. Look, I think we need to realise that the players at the end of the day, and that they need to, you need to look after the player a little bit, because he won't be used to this. Like, last year was the first time we played against crowds.
Yes.
For Brighton and stuff, So you need to realise that, and I have a lot of respect for Dano. I've no question he's 100% committed to Bowes for as long as he's there. I do think it'd be a big loss if he does go. I won't say Bowes want him to go, but he's going to give 100%. Keith Long wouldn't have picked him if it wasn't that case.
True. Dundalk 3, Shelbourne 2. It's Filippo's first league game, wasn't it?
Yeah, and in fairness to him,
he has them up to third now, Keane. They're 4 points, funnily enough, behind Bohemians all of a sudden with a game in hand. Unfortunately, I missed this game. It was the game of the weekend. It's the only one I missed, of course. How was it? I've seen some of the goals. Duffy.
Yeah, really good game. You're looking at Shelbourne. You're 2-0 down after 11 minutes, right? Most teams would have done damage limitation. Sit back, but Chelsea, like I said, they have that fight, they have that courage. Getting it back to 2-2 was was fantastic. Look, the worst decision I've no problem saying it. The worst decision I've ever seen for a penalty. I've seen some bad ones in this league.
Highlights, yeah.
I've seen some bad decisions in this league, right? And look, I know a lot of refs, and I know them on a personal level, but it's nothing personal. I just think that was atrocious. If anything, it was a free out. But he gave it. Shells capitalised on it. I do want to add. I thought Georgie Poynton was by far my man of the match. Look, they never give man of the match to a player that lost the game, but I genuinely think he was the main man out there. He played right full. He was everywhere.
He's really improved. He seems to have warmed to that right back position. I saw him in a game recently. Can't remember which one, top of my head now. But I thought he was the best player in the pitch as well. I can't remember which game it was either. But
he's absolutely excellent the other night now. He scored his penalty, but not only that, it just his delivery. His delivery from set pieces, them corners he was pumping in, the free kicks, he was getting them in them areas that you need to get them in. Look, I think Filippo, he's a very likeable character. I was from what I've seen.
To be honest, I know people were joking and laughing and stuff like that, but it wasn't really a joke and a laugh as such. But it was more of what was going on with Dundalk. But looking into it, he's different to John Sheridan, let's say. He does seem to have a bit of respect. Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
really likeable character, and he's a bit of crack on the sideline as well, from what I heard. And you like characters like that in the league. And look, it wasn't pretty.
Actually, before I forget, did you see anything in Dundalk that maybe you haven't seen in the previous weeks?
A little bit more intensity, a little bit more directness, I thought.
Okay.
They kind of, the players weren't going through the motions anymore. They looked defensively. Yeah, there's a few questions being asked, and rightly so. But that fight, that squad was a never say die squad from day one of Stephen Kenny. And look, I'd even go before that. Dundalk were always a never die squad. Even in 2012, now staying up there, the playoffs and all. Look, it shows courage, but I have to say, that felt like it was back, do you know what I mean? That 2-0 up, Shells get it back to 2-all, dodgy penalty goes against you. They could have easily rolled over. And
see the way they had been playing, the confidence.
Exactly. But no, they showed the quality. They bided that time. Look, Duffy's goal was a worldly, and I think I'm a big fan of Sligo. I've said it a lot of times now. What he chased them down, and he chased Quinner down very well. Won the ball and stuck it in top bins, and what a finish. But I just love that work rate to win the ball back, that hunger to win the ball back. Look, I do think Dundalk, let's say, look, it's hard to say, maybe a draw probably would have been the fairest result. Shepherd had a great chance for Shelbourne. He was only on the pitch, I think, about 30, 40 seconds. He had a header. I'd say he was from the 6-yard box. He was just right at the goal. If you're looking at it from the camera angle. And he just headed it on another day. He probably scores them every day of the week with his eyes closed. But Shells will take a lot of heart out of that.
100%. Finished Cork City 0, Shamrock Rovers 3, Turner's Cross. Rovers are obviously top now. They're 8 points clear, still unbeaten. Who knows? It could go the season unbeaten.
Yeah, I didn't.
I thought this was a game for Shamrock Rovers. I really did. I thought Cork lacked a lot of fight in this game, which is the concerning thing for them.
Yeah, look, it was. I seen the full 75 minutes. I didn't see the rest. I was at the Pats game, so I didn't miss much anyway. But I watched the back this morning, and Cork just they give you that little bit of hope. They give you that little bit of like, Jesus, right, these are up for it. And then they go out and put performance in like that. Look, Rovers, I think they're going to win the league now. I think it's widely recognised. I think they're going to go on. They're the best team in the country at the minute. Like they're look where Cork are in the league. I think this could have been
bottom. Yeah, they're actually bottom now.
The only thing for me now. This is a little bit. This is I don't mean that funny by this, but I think Cork will be delighted that that's out of the way now.
Oh yeah, I know.
In a way, like it's not. I'm not saying like they're counting on it now. That look, we play Rovers, great. Let's kick on. But I do think like there's a little bit of fear when you play Shamrock Rovers now. Obviously, with the way they're playing and how good they are. Look, they're fabulous. I think. Funny enough, I do think though they played better football last year. Funnily enough, towards the end of last year, I thought the football was flowing just a little bit better.
It might be a bit before lockdown. I thought they played some great
Yeah,
football.
exactly.
I think
That's
might
what
be
I meant.
an element of a small little bit of nerves because they know it's a short season and they're
Yeah,
top.
look, that's exactly what I meant. I said last year, but I
Exactly.
meant before lockdown, and you know
Sorry, yeah.
they've been playing really good stuff, and look, they have taken it forward.
Let's be honest, it's very easy for them at the weekend.
Yeah, it was easy. Like Arden Green scores too. It was just it was simple. It was simple, and it was just it was a bad game. Cork made a bad game. You know, I think Rovers had the quality. Rovers didn't need to do much. I don't think they got out of second gear. I think the first goal was in. I knew it was over. Yeah, it was just a bad game overall, I think. But a good performance from Rovers. They didn't need to do much to win it. So I'm not saying Rovers didn't do enough to deserve it. Rovers has fully deserved the game. But it was just a poor game for the neutrals.
Yeah. On to the next one, St. Patrick's Day, Sligo Rovers. You were obviously there. Morahan was sent off in the last minute. I think his second bookable offence, wasn't it? It was an interesting game in terms of Pats were on top for most of this game. They hit the post twice. They were the better side, but it's 5 games out of goal, Cian, for Pats.
Yeah, look, I have to say, probably because I was at it. I don't know. I watched it back twice this morning. Don't know. I don't ask me why. But
tough,
don't ask me why. But I watched it back. That's what I do. I look at games. I study them. I just thought it was a very entertaining little draw.
Yeah.
It was a. It wasn't a barn at all. It wasn't a like. I just thought it was. There was something there in the game. I thought towards the end it got very stretched.
Did actually.
And it was more like a cup final game more so than a league. And I think that's a credit to both sides. I think both sides went to win it.
Although I do think I don't remember Brendan Clark making a save.
Didn't have that. I think he made one in the first half. I think he was offside though, but he made the save. But no, Clarkey had a fairly easy one, which was good. Jesus, it's great. I'll take that every day.
There was a lot of Pats, like I was talking to you about before, and it's obviously frustrating when you don't win a game, when you dominate, more or less. I think Pats dominate most of them. I think most Sligo fans take the point. But they defended quite well, thought they pressed very well, particularly in that first half. Pats pressed very well. I know they hit the post twice, Forrester with a bit of magic as well, but they probably, you feel like for all the dominance, they probably could have created more even, couldn't they, in the game?
Look, you'd like to create more chances. I think before the game, look, we need to realise where Sligo are. I think on form they would have to be second or third in the league. On form, if you were going by after lockdown, they'd probably be fourth, could they?
They could well be, Keane, to be honest with you.
When they count the league, just say after lockdown, so it shows you where Sligo are.
Rovers, I think. After Shamrock Rovers, I think they're second. Yeah.
It shows you where they are in the league. It shows you how good of a side they are. I said nil all. I predicted nil all, didn't I? I predicted a draw anyway. I said a draw. I predicted nil all, but I just think it was after hitting the post twice. It's disappointing to come out of it at loss, and let's say being the better side. We're not used to being the better side recently. And it's good to see. It's positive. You don't look. I know it's 5 without a goal. That needs to be addressed. I think that will be addressed. But one thing for me there was we're creating the chances. Look, we're creating. I would say we've got 4 or 5 half decent chances.
Another one I thought where Luke McNally done well. I think it was the left wing, wasn't he? Cut inside. He beat
he calmed down the left wing. Yeah.
The finish wasn't the best, but at the same time, it's good play by centre back.
We got a couple in where Robbie Benson probably could have led it Forrester there towards, I'd say, with about 10 minutes to go. And, we're creating them chances, which we haven't been doing.
But as you said before, what you have to do there is it's fine and well doing that, but they have to come up in the next game and perform in a similar level. And then you get the look.
Yeah.
But if they come out and say perform like
But I was leaving Inchy Carter yesterday, and that was, I'm not going to say positivity, but it was a feeling of where, like, that was okay.
Yeah, exactly.
That was content. Like, we could settle for that.
It was frustrating at the time because when you dominate a game, you hit the post.
Definitely,
and things like that.
Yeah.
Why couldn't we got the win? Especially Forrester, I thought did very well. I think he linked up well in that position, and it was a good shot that hit the post. McGinty looked like he might have been beaten. You're thinking, get in, yourself. But another facet of the game, Keane, I have to say, is that Ian Birmingham, as we know, came on. And that was his 309th league appearance for Pats, and he's now the record league appearance holder. It was Paul Ozam, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah. I would say I've been there for about 300 of them games. Honestly, I swear to God. I'd say I've seen him playing about 300 of them league games, right? And I'm so proud to have him at Pats for that long and to be our longest serving player. I don't think anybody deserves him more. Look, what he has done.
Because it's very rare nowadays for players to stay at one club for 9, 10, 11 seasons. You know what I mean? So
look, he's a top professional, Birmo. Look, he obviously knows. Let's say at the minute he's probably lost his position to Griffin in the side. Rightly or wrongly, it's that's up to Stephen. I'm not going to comment on that and say nothing, but I think that's the best way. But I just think, since he's come into the club, he's been superb. Since he came in 2010, I remember actually in 2010 we used to have a thing called the Saints Forum. I don't know if you knew about that, Rue. But now that used to be a bit of crack. That was basically Pat's Facebook before Facebook was out, really. So any like signings or info and stuff like that. And I remember the link. I would have been what? I would have been about 12, right? I remember the link coming in, and there he is in his double XL white jersey with the scarf. Did you see that picture? And it's just. You're saying, who's this fella, But,
and he was skinnier at the time as well.
Yeah, he was really, really skinny. But he was in the big double XL top. I'll never forget it. The white polo. He talks about, but what a servant. And I remember in 2010, like, obviously, the deal was, I think, as such, Stevens, it'll go to Rovers, and then we'll sign Burmo because Stevens is going to play. And to think, here we are. Like, look, he nearly didn't sign in 2012. He signed very late. He was up training with Monaghan United, Roddy Collins and everything. You know what I mean? And to just think, he came back, he fought for that position. He lost a squad number, lost everything. Came back, fought for his position. Went on to have a superb season with Jer. Got to the cup final. Look, we didn't win it. And then the next year again, went on to be the best fullbacks in the league for probably the next 2-3 years, and the two of them were superb. But it's so proud to have him as a captain. Look, he hasn't hit the heights he would like to hit recently. I think Graham will be the first to tell you that. But what a servant to this club, and I'm proud of him.
Absolutely. If you got the winner, it would have been mental, though. Finn Harps 0, Derry City 0. This was another 0-0, and I do think this game was the opposite. It was a 0-0 that lacked a lot of quality. I do think Harps are the better side overall, in my view.
Yeah, just before we go, I just want to say best wishes to you, Curran. He's a big Derry fan, big mate of mine, big League of Hurling fan, and look, he sent me a text earlier on. He got a bit of news. He's not too good. He's up in Belfast Hospital, so we just wish him all the very best, and hopefully we see him in the Brandywell or Richmond soon. But we really do, and the game today, it was bad. I can't say any more than that. I thought I don't think anyone deserved to win it. I think they could be playing now and it'd be still 0-0. I thought Harps were comfortable defensively, and I thought Derry were comfortable defensively. I think it was a game. I think both sides. I'd say Harps would be delighted with a point. Every point counts. But
did you see the quote from Declan Devine? Or I think he did an interview. I haven't got it here now, but he said basically the best thing about that game is that it's over.
Yeah, and it was really bad, and that's what I was saying. The quality of the league, the quality of the weekend hasn't been great. I think that game showed. Look, there's a lot of points at stake here. There's a lot of places at stake here. People need to realise that.
Yeah, it's the end of the season. No matter how many games, 11 games, it doesn't matter. It's like it's coming to the end of the season, and it is.
Derry.
If Harps come closer to scoring, though, in fairness, I think that a shot was a header. Yeah, it was cleared off the line, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It didn't go over the line, but it's always hard to tell. But look, I think the thing you get with Harps, Keane, they've got courage, they've got guts, they've got balls. Have Cork City got that? That'll be the question when it comes to the run-in.
I think. Look, in my opinion, as a coach, I don't think you can be passionate or stuff like that. But that can only take you so far.
Yeah.
I do think Cork have that little bit more quality. Harps probably make up for it in fight. But like I said, at times you do need that little bit of quality. We've seen it from Harps. We've seen it from the individual players. Look, they have the likes of McNamee. Even your man Coghlan now lately is doing all right. They have a decent bit of quality about them. But I just think Cork have that little bit more. But Harps are more of a team, if you get me.
Exactly. So that's the fascinating dynamic between the two, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think they're playing teams as well, which could be an interesting one. Because it'll be interesting if Cork can roll up their sleeves for that, because we know Finn Harps will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that could be a key game. I know it's
they're all every game now. Next week's the key one, But look, when you're playing each other, I think the best possible result, if like your Cork at the minute, is not lose.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think Cork will obviously we'll talk about when it comes up, but they need to be careful. If they lose, that's a gap.
And it's a gap. You can't see Cork win a couple in a row, can you? Let's be honest. It's very difficult, But we'll get on to the first division, Keane. Cabinteely, are they in free fall? They drew 1-1 with that lone town. I know they're close to the top points wise, but they dropped from first to fifth, and they haven't won in 6 games, Keane.
Yeah, look, free fall is a big word, I'd say now. But like, I think free fall is getting hockeyed every week. Look, I know they got hockeyed against Drogheda, but I just think I was just thinking that in my head there. But
I suppose what it is, Keane, I suppose from where they were top of the league. They're now down to fifth. Obviously, they're close to the top, but they haven't won in 6. They needed to be beating the likes of Athlone at home.
As well, look, they've done fantastically well in this division. I don't think.
Do you think they've overachieved a little bit at the start of the season?
Nobody expects them to be up there. Definitely, nobody expects them. Look, we expect them to be exactly where they are right now in the promotion. Nobody expects them to win it. Look, it could change in 2 games. Look Longford were gone. Longford were out of it. Galway were miles out of it. Now Galway look like they have a tiny little bit of hope to get back into it. And
there's a resurgence with Galway, isn't there?
Yeah, like it can change so quickly. But I wouldn't say they're in free fall now. I would say Devlin and Eddie will address it. They're going to have to address it. Look, at 6 games. There's only a couple left now. They need to start picking up a win. Like if they could have picked any team to play at home, it would have been Athlone. So they'd be disappointed with that.
By all accounts, they were fortunate enough to get the point here as well.
Yeah. It's, you don't know what you're going to get sometimes with Athlone. With Athlone. Sometimes it's an awful performance. Then they pick her up. Like they played fantastically well against Wexford. They're seeing the highlights. I only got the highlights 2 weeks ago. Would you believe, at the cup game or last week? I was watching it and like they played superb in that game. But sometimes, I would say they're like Shamrock Rovers B without being disrespectful. I just think they're from week to week, you don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, we did say at the start of the season that they're a club that really need to rebuild from.
And they are, fairness to them.
So, you know what I mean? I don't think they're too concerned with that. They're more concerned with what they're trying to do off the field to improve things on the field.
And I have to say now, the work that's being done down there is fantastic. I know during lockdown there, they done a walk. They showed how many kilometres was that? It was a decent one, and anyway.
Not much, anyway.
Everybody was doing it together, you know. But it's just there's a good bit of togetherness there again. There's people there that love the club. There's young lads there who are fighting for the badge now, and I don't think we've seen that for a long time from an Athlone side. There's a bit of stability there. The lads in charge kind of, you know, that are not there for a wage. I'm not disrespecting anyone, but
local guys within the club work.
Yeah, they're local guys, but they're doing a tremendous job. And I think everything they're doing off the field now, whether it be 5, 10, 15 years, it could go a long, long way to putting Athlone up the very top of Irish football, the work that they're doing. And look, I commend them because there was a lot of disjointed people there. There was a lot of people falling out of love with the club. They nearly went under a few times, and like, you know, they were, look, it shows you. They had volunteers walking door to door in Athlone a couple of years ago, putting money in a euro a house or something it was they done. €2 a house. Now, obviously, people probably get fivers and tenors now, but it's just the stuff that they do off the field is fantastic, and you know that's what clubs are about.
Yeah, it's going to take time.
It's going to take a lot of time, but if they're just patient and they just go about their business exactly the way they are, I've no worries for them at all.
Yeah, so Galway United beat Shamrock Rovers B 2-1. A goal in the last minute gave them the 3 points there. 3 wins in a row now for Mr. John Caulfield. On 14 points, 6 points off Cabinteely, by the way. Could you imagine?
Yeah, look, there's no question why they can't. It shows
they could get a playoff place. They definitely could get a playoff place.
They'd be disappointed that it took to the 90th minute to beat Shamrock Rovers B.
Having said that, 3 points.
Exactly. They don't care about that, though. 3 points, I don't think anyone cares about it at the minute. 3 points is massive. And they're banging form, let's say, compared to a Cabinteely, who are, let's say, the other end of the form scale. And, you know, if they're coming up against each other, it's Galway have to be the favourites in form-wise. And, you know, it just, like, it changes every week. The picture just changes, and you know you can't. What I've noticed, especially as a Pats fan, you can't get too upbeat now about a win, and you can't get too down about a loss anymore because we're in a week that's changed, or we're in even more shit. But you know, it's one of them things. I've no reason why Galway can't get a playoff position.
Fancy them to do so now. It's
gas, isn't it? But you know, he goes out next week and loses, and goes out the next week and draws, and then all of a sudden
they're in a delicate situation. Yeah, they're in a delicate situation, though. You're right, though. If
the next one's a big one for them.
Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Wexford 1, Bray Wanderers 3. this was an interesting one because Bray dominated the game, but obviously Wexford scored. Carl Fitzsimons, no relation, after 23 minutes. And Gary Shaw penalty after 86, Sean McAvoy 87, and Darrell Lynch in 90 minutes. I mean, wow.
Yeah, look
big
what I
week
think.
for Wexford, though. Or for
Yeah,
Bray, sorry, Bray Wanderers.
huge week for Bray. Look, some fantastic wins now. They're bang on form again. They're another side bang on form.
Clear top of the league now. They're
Yeah,
level top. Yeah.
That's unbelievable from Bray. Like, no, it really is, and credit to them. They've gone about that business quietly. Nobody was talking about them. I don't think now, even though they're top of the league, I don't think anyone's talking about them.
Yeah.
It's great, you know, and I think that suits Bray. That suits it. But like I said, we're seeing the rewards now on the pitch of what's being done off the pitch. I think they're doing it. They're really, really, like, honestly, hats off to them again. The work that's being done there, you know, and you know, O'Driscoll and stuff like that. It's really, really good. Does it look? There's no fans there. I get that, but there's a buzz about the Carlisle grounds. Like, I remember going there. It would have been 2 years now, and like the amount of kids and the amount of like people just at the game and the buzz, and you know, that's what you want. And
it's worth pointing out though that in the close season they lost Hugh Douglas, who was a very important player for them, and they lost Dylan McGlade.
We knew Douglas. They told him to move on. And
exactly, yeah. But you know what I mean? He was a player, I think.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was shocked with that now.
True.
Dylan McGlade obviously was going to move on. Look, he's going to go to Cork. He can't compete. But look, they regrouped. They got the likes of Gary Shaw in. They needed a striker. They got one. They needed
a young striker as well. He scored the other day there, Darrell Lynch, and he's rated fairly highly by the Bray contingent. I've only seen him play once, so I can't.
It's all well and good. It's all good having players like that have good prospects, but I think I don't want to offend anyone here, but I think Bray have always signed, let's say, good prospects. But I think this year they recruited really well. They got a well-known striker. They got a striker who knows where their goal is, who knows how to score goals. Look, he didn't have the greatest season at Pats, but I don't think anyone had the greatest season at Pats last year.
This may soon better at this minute in time anyway, so.
Got a big centre half in Arden Barry. You would sign him, like, I think he could nearly start for many Premier Division teams in the league.
Oh yeah.
Now Paul Keegan in the middle. I know they signed him last season now, but he's a big player for them. Now that's your spine, that's your striker, that's your midfielder, that's your centre half, and you know they build some really good players around. The young lad they got off Wolves, Taunton was not bad as well. You know, but it's all well and good having these fantastic prospects, but you need to have your Keegans, you need to have your Shawsies, your Arden Barrys, and you know they've a fantastic keeper in Brian Maher as well, which they signed now. And I rate him really, really highly. I've seen him play an awful lot for the 19s. 19s is totally different out to senior football, but I've no question they've got a fantastic keeper. And in fairness to Bray, they done well together because they weren't the only team looking for him. There was a lot of high-profile teams.
Could be wrong, but I believe Cork City were after him as well.
Cork were after him, and there's a number of teams in the League of Ireland, let's say, would be nearly better off than Pat's looking at him. So, really big coup for Bray. I think he's happy there. That makes it even better. But yeah, the top of the table, anything can happen now, and you know, I need to start picking them more off.
Yeah, they're top of the table. They're 2 points clear. It almost feels like a big gap because no one's ever 2 points clear in that division.
Yeah. You know, it's big psychologically, like after the last couple of results.
Yeah.
They've got some really good results, and you know, there's no reason why they can't keep going.
No, they're absolutely not, because I think they're a stronger side, in my opinion, than, say, Captain as an example.
100%.
We'll move on to Cobh. Cobh were beating 6-0 at home to UCD. What a weird last few weeks for UCD.
What a weird few weeks for Cobh.
for Cobh as well, but it seems they were one down in OG and then they got a player sent off. John Kavanagh got sent off 37 minutes and it appeared they fell apart in the second half. But I just want to talk quickly about Madai and Colin Whelan, who both got 2 goals each in this game. And Madai has scored 10 goals in 10 games this season. Whelan has scored 8 goals in 11 this season.
Mandy?
Madai, yeah.
Is that what they call it?
M-A-H-D-Y.
Oh, I thought it was Mandy.
It's not Mandy. It's definitely not Mandy.
Is that
not a Barry Manilow song?
Yo Yo Mandy.
No, Madai. But anyway, yeah, I mean, 2 strikers up front. Not many teams do that, and they're 18 goals between the two of them in 11 games. My word.
that's huge. That's like never. I'm not jumping the ship here, but that's Premier Division European level.
Yeah.
Look, it's difficult because these players now, like nobody, to be honest with you, nobody really noticed the amount of goals they've scored between them.
No, they scored the same amount of goals this season as Drogheda in the league, 25 league goals, right? Consider that for a second. So the 2 boys have scored 18 out of 25.
Yeah, and that's that's unbelievable. That is, I think, and they're big players. Look, going in now, they're full of confidence as well. Going in, it's very hard to play in the 2.
So I have to give Andy Myler a lot of credit here because Andy was a striker and he often played in the 2. But still, these days it's brave to actually say we're putting 2 up front and we're sacrificing midfielders. Everyone plays 3 midfielders, you know.
It's hard because it's really, really hard. I know myself. Like, you're caught in 2 minds. You play with 3 in the centre. You're a lone man up top unless you're going with 3 at the back. But realistically, we play with 3 in the middle all over the league. I think
everyone does.
It's a shame.
Because it's something I love to see because call me old fashioned or whatever, but you miss strike partnerships. We used to see loads of
it's hard.
Trevor Madai and Inglesine as a strike partnership and it worked well. Madai, and I've seen Madai play quite a bit. I have to be honest, I haven't seen Whelan play an awful lot, so I don't really know his style. But with Madai, he's obviously he can score goals. He's a very, very mobile striker.
Yeah, it's brave because. Especially in this league, because you're 3v2 all the time in the middle there. That's where teams hurt you, and that's where teams have hurt them. But he's settling it. He's okay with that.
He's kind of thinking if we get 3 wins out of 4, do you know that kind of way?
Yeah.
We can afford to drop 1 kind of thing.
Yeah, but
that's what we've done it the last weeks.
It's one of them. It's one of them things where he's sacrificing the 3v2 in the middle. He's sacrificing that overload to maybe nick one on the break or maybe even outscore them.
Yeah.
And I think he's playing to UCD's strengths, and it takes balls. I think personally to play with 2 up top in this day and age.
When everyone used to do it was different because you always had to.
That's it. Yeah.
But I have to say, some of the best, I've seen great strike partnerships, and it's great to see when you see it, to be honest with you.
But yeah.
That has them third. That has UCD up to 3rd now. They're 3 points behind Bray, banging in the goals, as I said. But Cobh will be very disappointed with that, I have to say, because Cobh have been we were saying how solid they were the last month. And then all of a sudden, bang. They must be, something happened. Yeah, something happened there. You know what I mean? They get the man sent off, and they obviously didn't react very well to it either.
No, look, John would be a big loss for them. He's the main man. He's the main man. But 6 is disgraceful. You can't be losing 6. You need to be. They're not 6 goals better than, or they're not 6 goals worse than UCD. And, there's no reason why. Look, I don't know what way they played. I didn't see the game.
Exactly.
But,
it's hard.
If, in fairness to them, if they went and played, that's all right. But At the same time, look, after 3 goals, you need to say, "Ah, hell, let's get back there." And you need to shut up shop. I think, especially its damage limitation. Look, goal difference is a big thing in our first division as well, and 6 goals for UCD. That's an extra point.
That puts Cobh to -1, like, and the team's around them at +3.
That's what I'm saying. That's an extra point for Cobh or for UCD.
Yeah. And almost, a point deducted, if you like, for Cobh in many ways.
Look, it's a huge thing, like, or goal difference. I don't think people actually really look at that.
Especially when the league's as tight, as you said before, and we have so few games, that goal difference is even bigger than it normally would be, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's so important that you don't get hammered.
Mm-hmm. Like, if you're down to 10, as you say, if you're 3 down, let's say, down to 10 men, let's be honest, you're not getting anything out of the game. You need to just say, lads, hold back. Look, next game, we just have to get out of here and get on to the next. Disappointing enough for Cobh, brilliant for UCD. It must be a joy to watch at the moment, I have to say. I suppose the big game as such at the weekend was Longford and Drogheda. Finished 1-1. The two of us actually went for a draw, I believe, as well. Manley scored early for Longford. Addy Amo scored for Drogheda. Both teams be content enough with the points, do you think, in many ways?
Big point for both sides. Considering Cobh lost as well.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Cobh dropped points, sorry. Considering Cobh dropped points is a big one. Look, the game probably. I've said it before. People are going to be disappointed if this ends at a draw. I did say that. I said it's going to be a tweak cagey affair. No team wants to go out and lose this. And in fairness to them, they didn't. Big. I think even bigger for, let's say, Longford.
The importance of this draw for both teams, Cian, because I know you could say they lost ground and Bray Wanderers, but at the same time, they didn't lose too much ground and they didn't let the other side get those extra 2 points. I think it's critical, isn't it?
I don't think they lost ground at all. Look, Bray are top by 2 points. Within 2 weeks, Bray could be fourth, and that's not putting Bray. And it's strange, like, but that was a point gained for both teams. I really do. I think it was a big point gain for both sides. Like, Drogheda be delighted with that, especially losing the Cobh, and it hasn't been that good around United Park lately at the minute.
Cobh would have been happy with the 5-1 win against Cabinteely, and although you look to win every game, they'd be quite content with that point against Longford. Longford would be quite content as well because their form generally has picked up as well.
Yeah, look, they were out of it. 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Longford not even making the playoffs.
Yeah.
And here they are.
It's strange with Longford, though. They've only scored 13 goals this season. Bray, for example, have scored 19, Drogheda 25, UCD 25, and Cabinteely, who are now below them on goal difference, 16. So they need to score a few more goals. Cian, thanks very much for that.
Oh, what a wood. All the best.
We'll see you next week, guys. Please subscribe, like the video, and hit your bell notification button so you don't miss a video. Cheers, boys. Good luck.
Thank you.